The Bruins lose a heartbreaker 2-1 to the Toronto Maple Leafs here in game number 5 at TD Garden. Fall down 3-2 in this best-of-7 first-round series. Face a do-or-die on Easter Sunday up in Toronto. My name is Mike Petralia, joined by Evan Marinovsky of WEEI and, of course, CLNS Media. Evan, everybody's going to be talking about Zach Hyman bumping. Can't deny that. Bumping Tuukka Rask with about 11 minutes to go on Austin Matthews' goal. The first goal of the game, and really kind of killed the momentum of this contest. You felt at that point, the way the game was going, that was going to be the decisive goal. After the game, Tuukka Rask said, yeah, it impacted my ability to get over from right to left and see the Matthews shot. But after the game, he also said it could have gone either way.
Yeah, I mean, look, in my opinion, that's textbook definition of goaltender interference. It is. And Rask is 100% right to say it interfered with him, and Cassidy, his answer was along the same lines. When that goal went in, it sort of deflated everything in the Garden. I mean, it just, to that point, it was X's and O's, defensive hockey, who could outsmart the other team. And when that went in, it was like the game felt over. It just felt over. When I was doing a game recap, I pretty much was like, all right, this is the end of the game. This is it. This was the pretty much the game winner. I know the Bruins scored at the end there to make it 2-1. At that point, it was pretty much over. It just felt it. Even though it was 2-1, it just felt like it was over. That goal did so much damage more mentally than it did just on the scoreboard itself.
I know a lot of fans came out of this building on Friday night asking, where was the jump at the beginning of the game in the first 20 minutes? And there was no urgency in a game where the Bruins figured they had to win to avoid a do-or-die game on Easter Sunday afternoon up north of the border. They just didn't show it.
No, it's funny. They came out in game 2, and they came out flying. They started the fourth line. They were hitting everybody in sight. To this point in the series, physicality has been the defining factor of the team that won. Tonight, actually, the Bruins did out hit the Maple Leafs. I think it was 29-26. Obviously, the Bruins did not win. That streak now ends. But I think ultimately they didn't hit as hard. They weren't as effective. They didn't really get the crowd into it. I mean, the crowd's on their side, and they never got the crowd into it at all. And in my opinion, they just were flat. They were just they didn't come out looking ready to play, and they just couldn't get anything going.
This Garden Report on Ice is brought to you by the great folks at betonline.ag. Go to clnsmedia.com/win and use the promo code CLNS50 for a 50% cashback bonus on your first deposit. Getting into the X's and O's of explaining exactly what you were just talking about. Why didn't the Bruins have jump, and why couldn't they get more forechecking going in the Toronto end? Patrice Bergeron said it's pretty simple. The Maple Leafs have done a great job taking the middle of the ice, the center of the ice, the lanes away from the Bruins and keeping them stuck on the boards. And they just simply, said Bergeron after the game, need to find a way to get the puck to the middle of the ice.
Yeah, I mean, their problem is the Leafs figured out last year that defensively they don't have the advantage on the Bruins at all. Jake Muzzin's helped a lot. I think a lot of people discount that, but Jake Muzzin, I don't know. I said this to Ty Anderson upstairs. I said, is Jake Muzzin a real number one defenseman, or are the Bruins just making him look like a number one defenseman? But the Maple Leafs strategy has just been pack everybody in the middle, pack the front of the net. If you look at it, all the shots the Bruins are getting, at least tonight, were from outside right in front of the net. And that's been the Leafs the entire series. And it seems like every other game the Bruins can figure it out, then they can't figure it out. And tonight they couldn't figure it out.
What about the line combinations? Sean Corrali made his return here on the fourth line, was supposed to provide some energy coming back off a 13-game absence due to a broken hand against the Devils late in the season. He gave his line a little bit of jump, but overall, it didn't carry over to the other three lines.
No, it didn't. I mean, they looked pretty dormant. The funny thing is the third lines actually looked pretty good this series. I think Charlie Coyle's playing really good hockey right now. The second line had some good chances. They facilitated a few times. I still think Jake DeBrusk has a concussion. I'm going to say it. I don't know that for a fact at all, but I do believe that Jake DeBrusk has something going on with his head.
Do you think he's not skating as crisply or not converting on some of the opportunities he has? What leads you to believe that? Because certainly in game number 2, he took a vicious hit.
Yeah, and I think, Jake DeBrusk is known for going to the dirty areas and scoring goals. This series, he hasn't done that. You're not seeing him cut to the middle. Now, part of that is because the Maple Leafs defensive system right now is just pack the house. And that doesn't help a guy like Jake DeBrusk get to the front of the net because he's not that big of a guy. But I do believe that something's going on for that reason. He doesn't look like there's the urgency to get there. But back to the lines, I think one of the big problems they have right now is the first line. Patrice Bergeron, Brad Marchand, as you said, just not getting the opportunities, and that goes back to the fact that the Maple Leafs are just packing it in front of the net.
Okay, on Sunday afternoon, who has to come out and get that early score to really kind of take some of the pressure off them and put the pressure on the Maple Leafs?
It's Brad Marchand. That's who it is. That's been their go-to guy all year. He's got to come out. I think a secondary guy is David Pastrnak. David Pastrnak has been awful this series. I'm sorry. He scored 2 goals in Game 4. I know a lot of people said, oh, he's back. He's not back. He's not playing the same hockey he was during the season. Just because he had, I think it was like 2 tip-in goals or something in Game 4, if I remember correctly, that does not mean a guy's back. A guy's back when he can skate end-to-end and get through the other team's defense and set something up. Pastrnak has not been able to do that yet in this series, and it's shown. And he's got to come out better in Game 6.
All right, the Bruins do have to do or die, get it done in game number 6 on Easter Sunday afternoon up in Toronto to force a Game 7 back here in Boston next Tuesday night.